again, this is another problem that we're going to do with buckets, only this time we're talking about interest. And you need to know the formula for interest before we even start. So how do you figure interest? Interest is equal to principal, which is the amount invested, times the rate, and times the time usually, but we're not going to use the time because the time is 1 year, and 1 year will not change what the multiplication of principal and rate is. So we're going to use this formula, interest equals principal times rate. Okay, so let's read the problem now. Nico is saving money for college. He invests some money at 7% interest and $1,200 less than that amount at 3%. The investments produced a total of $174 interest in 1 year. How much did he invest at each rate of interest? So again, we've got two things coming together to produce a total sum at the end. So let's look at those buckets again. A really good method to do this. Not the only method, but a good one. So we've got our first bucket plus our second bucket. This is the interest from the first investment. The interest from the second investment is going to equal my total interest. Total interest, okay? Now, this is a little bit different from the other one because you're not going to have the same in every bucket like we did before. So we'll have to use those decimals this time. So let's look at this. First of all, let's read this and find where the total interest is. It's in this line right here. Yeah, that's it. The total of $174 interest in 1 year. That's my total interest. So this one over here is $174. All right? That's our total interest. But what is going to be the interest of the first two buckets? Well, again, you're going to have the rate times the principal. Rate is the percentage of interest. So let's look at the first one. It says he invests some money at 7% interest. So what's the rate on the first one? Yeah, you got it. It's 7%. And what's the amount? Yeah, it doesn't tell us, does it? It says some money. Come on, guys, what is it? Yeah, that's right. It's that handy-dandy X again. Okay, and then what is the interest on our second one? Let's read it. $1,200 less than that amount at 3%. That's right. It's that 3% interest. And how much did we invest here? That one's a little tricky. It says $1,200 less than that amount. What does that amount refer to? It refers up here to the sum money. And what was our sum money? Yeah, you're right, it was X. So it's X minus the 1,200 because it says 1,200 less than that amount. That amount's already there. You're taking 1,200 from it, guys. So now, do we have percents on every bucket? No, we can't use numbers, guys. We can't use whole numbers. We're going to have to go to those decimals. So again, remember, you drop it off, move it twice, making 0.07. And this one over here, same thing, 0.03. So we're going to multiply now the rate times the variable. So 0.07x plus 0.03 times the amount in this bucket, x minus 1,200, is going to equal $174. But if you're like me, you really don't like working that well with decimals. You would much prefer whole numbers, and there's an easy way to get them, guys. Multiply everything in this thing by $100. So it's this one is multiplied, this is multiplied, and this is multiplied. So 100 times this turns it into 7x, plus 100 times the 0.03 is 3 times x minus 1,200. And then, don't forget, you got to multiply 100 here too. Remember, anything times 100, you just write it down and add those 2 zeros. It's an easy way to do it. 2 more zeros. Guess what? We got rid of those decimals. That's awesome. Now we're going to distribute and go from there. This one goes like this, 7x plus 3 times x is 3x. 3 times a negative 1,200 is minus 3,600 is equal to 17,400. Combining those like terms right here, that makes 10x minus 3,600 equals 1,700. And we're going to move up because we're 17,400. Copy it right. There we go. Move up. 10x minus 3,600 equals 17,400. And now, again, we want to isolate the 10x. That means we got to get rid of that. It's a minus 3,600, so you have to add it. Do the same over here. Zeros out. 10x equals 17,400 plus that is 0, 0, 0. Carry my 1. 11, 2,100. Again, divide because this is multiplication. Divide by that 10. That becomes 1, and you have x equals, get rid of 1, 0. 2,100. So $2,100 is what my x is because that's an amount. So my x is this one, 2,100. That means at 7% interest, they invested $2,100. And don't forget your dollar sign. Now this one would be 2,100 minus 1,200, which is 11 minus that's 9. So we're going to have 900. So at 3%, they invested $900. And that's the way it goes. We're done. Remember, you always have to put it back in and answer the question. What was the question? How much did he invest at each rate? Each rate, 7% and 3%. So you got it. Good job.